Hello, my library friends. Welcome to the Red Bank Public Library and our program called Family Storytime on Race and Diversity. I'm Sira Williams. I'm the children's librarian here, and I'm so happy that you're here. I'm gonna start the program with a little peace and love. I want you to take some and pass it on. It's what the world needs now, all day, every day. But I want to encourage you to keep this and also keep your conversations going about the issues that are important to you and your families. This month is Women's History Month, and so that opens up the opportunity for us to talk about all of the amazing women in our lives now and in the generations before us, in our families, and throughout history, right? So let's start by thinking about all the roles that women play in our society. You know, everybody has a mom and therefore a grandmother. And so women are mothers and grandmothers and sisters and wives and daughters. And also women are traditionally the caretakers in our society. They raise us and love us and care for us and feed us and nurture us. But women are our role models and our teachers in terms of teaching us how to take care of ourselves, how to treat other people, how to move in this world, and be the best that we can be. But women are also artists and makers and scientists and innovators and inventors and athletes and business people and professionals in all different kinds of occupations. And so women are amazing, amazing today and throughout history. That has been the case. And young girls really need to understand that they are living lives today that their ancestors only dreamed about. It's kind of hard to imagine, but there was a time, and it wasn't that long ago in American history, when women could not go to college and be educated in the way that you plan on doing for your lives, that women could not vote or own property or even have their own money. They could not play organized sports or work in many occupations. And so these are rights and freedoms that women had to fight for because the men who were in power didn't believe that they were equal to them, didn't believe that they were capable, that they were smart enough or strong enough or able to do and be responsible for the same things that men could do. This kind of discrimination against women or females is called sexism. And there were laws and policies in our society that discriminated against women. And so women had to fight for their freedom, for their rights. And that fight was called the Women's Liberation Movement. And they fought by marching, by rallying, by getting together and talking, by writing articles, by having conversation with the men in their lives, their husbands, their sons, their brothers, their fathers, to change hearts and minds and to move the ball forward. And those are the same things that we have been done throughout history to make change in this world, and the same thing that we have to do now to make changes to make the world a better place. And so what I want us to do, though, is take a little magnifying glass to this issue of sexism and the way women are treated, okay? And look a little bit deeper and understand and discover there's a lot of different kinds of women in our society. Women come in all different shapes and sizes and colors and races and ethnicities and religions and cultures. And so, because of those differences, it affects the way that different women experience the world. That's just a fact. So I want to give you an example. We just celebrated a few years ago the 100th anniversary of women earning the right to vote in 1920. Okay? What we didn't really talk about too much, and what we don't talk about, is that only white women earned the right to vote at that time. Women of color, Black women, Asian, Latinas, Native Americans were not granted the right to vote in 1920. The law changed to say that you could not discriminate based on sex, but it left out all the other discrimination based on race, ethnicity, and all the other things. And so women of color had to fight for decades longer to get the right to vote. And so it's really important to understand where these different things like sexism and racism intersect and overlap, because it affects the way people experience the world. We can all relate as women and girls on a lot of things, on what it's like to be a female, what it's like to be the only girl in a room full of boys, or on a team full of boys, or in an office full of men, and you're the only one. We can relate on that. We can relate on all the things that go on with our bodies. We can relate. But when it comes to other issues, as a brown person, as a woman who was also a Black woman, I am going to have different experiences than my friends and other women who are white. It's just different. It's just different. And that's okay. So let's get to the story. Sira, we're here to read stories. So here's our book for today. All of that was to get us to this. Brown girl, brown girl. So it is going to speak to the experience of a brown girl. But just like I was telling you, there's a lot of commonalities between her experience and other girls, and we're all going to be able to relate, okay? Here we go. Brown Girl, Brown Girl. It's by Leslé Honoré. It's a beautiful new book with beautiful illustrations by Cosby A. Cabrera. Let me scooch around. Brown girl, brown girl. Brown girl, what did you see? A world that sees my skin before it sees me. Brown girl, what did you feel? That I have the power to make my dreams real. Brown girl, what did you do? I fought, I hoped, and spoke what was true. Brown girl, what do you see? A world full of girls with brown skin like me. Brown girl, what do you feel? That Black girl magic will help us all heal. Brown girl, what do you know? That there are strong women who want me to grow. Brown girl, what do you do? I write, I paint, I dance, and share my gifts with you. Brown girl, what makes your heart sing? Starry skies with no limits, dreaming and believing. Brown girl, how are you so strong? 'Cause I got queens in my blood to help push me along. brown girl, what will you do? March, fight, and create till I make this world new. Brown girl, who will you be? A powerful woman who is wonderfully free. That's the end. I think it's a beautiful book, and I like how it transitioned from what did you do, what did you see, to what do you see, what do you do, to what will you do, and what will you be? Because we have to have that continuum of going from the past to now to in the future. It's so important that we understand our past in order to know what came before us, so that we can have our eyes focused on what needs to come next. And what does she want to be? A powerful woman who is wonderfully free. That's what we want for all of our young girls and women these days. And so we all have women in our lives who can teach us and nurture us and push us and inspire us to go on and do those great things that we want to do. But we can learn from them about our history too. It's really important that we learn that her story. I just want to talk about her story real fast, because the word history has the word his in it, H-I-S. So if we flip that and change it to her story, we can change our perspective and start looking more deeply at our history / her story, and realize and think about, hey, wait a minute. All these men that I read about in my history books, all these things that happened, there's not a lot of stories about women that we learn about in our history books. There's some, but think about it. All those great men, they had wives, they had mothers, they had daughters and sisters who were right there next to them, influencing them, teaching them, helping them, and they had a perspective and part of that story. And wouldn't it be so interesting to learn about that and what it was like for them in those situations, and what impact they did have on our history? Because I bet it's more than you know. And so because those stories are not in our history books as much as we would like, they're written in other books that you might find at the library. They are depicted in programs and movies that you might watch on TV or in the theater. And you can also learn a lot just from talking and having conversations with some of the older people in your family, or that you might know from church or other organizations that you're involved in. A woman at my church just turned 107. 107, Miss Blake, happy birthday. But think of how much history that she has lived through and what we could learn just from talking to her. So I want to challenge you to have a conversation with somebody special in your life, a woman, and find out about her history. Maybe ask about her mom and her grandmothers and what their lives might have been like and experiences that they've had. I think you'll have interesting conversations and you'll learn a lot. And you'll appreciate much more what your life is like now, because you're living a life that they could only dream of. It's amazing. But we're going to make it even better. We're going to make it even better. Your generation is going to take that ball and run with it. So use that inspiration to stand up for what you believe in and do what you know is right for women, for people of color, for all the causes that you believe in, and you're going to make a difference. And do it with some peace and love. Hey, take some more and pass it on. And I just realized I wanted to show you my sweatshirt, so let me do that really fast. It says, because I just got it and I love it, it says inclusion. The word inclusion is a noun. 2, act. The act of including everyone, no matter their background, ability, or difference. Inclusion. Let's work on it, because that's the world I want to live in. All right, friends, thanks for joining me today. We'll see you next time.